According to Jon Heyman, the New York Mets' main targets are Jackie Bradley Jr., Kike Hernandez, and bullpen help, potentially Brad Hand. He also goes on to say that while the Mets do have some interest in Trevor Bauer, it is not their first choice. They're looking to see how maybe getting multiple lower level pieces could match up compared to just getting the one big fish in Trevor Bauer. In this video, I'm going to talk about the report, go over the 3 players and 3 areas that the New York Mets want to address. Jon Heyman talked about the other options in those other markets as well, so we'll definitely take a look at that. We also could look at the numbers of what these contracts might look like and how that would match up with how much money the Mets have left to spend. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below. What do you think about this report? What would be your plan for the rest of offseason? Would it be Jackie, Kike, and Brad Hand? Would it be just Jackie and Brad Hand? Like, let me know what kind of plan you guys are looking at, contract numbers, things like that. I imagine if the Mets are going to go for the lower level pieces instead of Trevor Bauer, that makes me think that they want to stay under the tax. So try to keep that in mind when you're making the contract numbers. Mets have around 27 to 30 million left to spend. The number is different everywhere you check. So some people say it's more, some people say it's less. So we'll just say 27 to 30 just to be fair. And then you make sure to subscribe. Definitely makes my day. Getting pretty close to 1,000 subscribers, so hopefully we can hit that sometime soon. I really appreciate talking to you guys in the comment section. So let's talk about this report. We will start it off with Jackie Bradley Jr. because Heyman went on to say that the Mets have Jackie Bradley on their radar. At least 5 teams are monitoring the center field market: the Phillies, the Red Sox, the Astros, and the Rockies. It's a pretty thin group now. Pilar is the next best option with Almora, Marisnick, among others. Mets would prefer a righty, but JBJ would give them a very strong outfield. And I think that all of that is definitely true. Makes a ton of sense because Jackie Bradley, he gives you the best defense out of all those center field options, but I know a lot of you guys are very caught up on the Mets having potentially too many left-handed bats. If there is a DH, yes, the Mets would have too many lefty bats, so they would prefer somebody right-handed. The disparity in the analytics between Bradley and Pilar is pretty big, so I can understand why you definitely want Bradley first. And then the disparity on offense between Bradley and Marisnick, you lean Jackie Bradley because at least Bradley is more consistent. At least you know that even if he doesn't give you a 288 average game like he did in 2020, he still could hit 20 home runs. He's done that multiple times in his career recently. So I think in a full season, he definitely is capable of that. I don't think that when you're starting Jake Marisnick every day, he's going to give you 20 home runs. The next guy is Kike Hernandez, who we've talked about a little bit. He definitely could help this team, and he really could help any team with his versatility and the ability to play multiple positions and be able to get the big hit in the postseason. Like, if you're in an at-bat in a postseason game, you need somebody to come in off the bench and get a big hit. Kike can do that. He is pretty clutch. He can hit for some power, doesn't really hit for average, but he definitely could help out this team. The other big-time versatility option out there was Jurickson Profar, who just signed with the Padres. The Padres were able to keep Profar on a 3-year, $21 million deal, so that's kind of what I'm going to use as the basis for Kike Hernandez. I think that that deal has to be $7 to $10 million. If another team like the Red Sox or the Dodgers or any other teams interested in Kike go more, you let him go. But I think that having a player like him on your bench, it definitely would help. But for me, I think that bullpen is a bigger priority than a utility player. I believe that having a strong bullpen, that's something that can help you every single day for the entire season. Meanwhile, a utility guy is like every now and then, okay, you need him to play second, okay, you need to play right field, you need to play center field, you need to pinch hit at bat every now and then. Yeah, I mean, again, his bat isn't great for off the bench every single time. I mean, if there is no DH and you added Jackie Bradley, you have Dom Smith on your bench, you might have Jose Martinez on your bench, depending on how spring training goes. I wouldn't really consider Kike Hernandez a bigger priority than Brad Hand. That's just me personally. Let's go to Hand next because we know so far the Mets have not been willing to go more than 1 year, and I just don't understand why. I think that Brad Hand is worth you going another year. I think he's someone that definitely could help out this team alive. I've said it so many times. There are plenty of other relievers out there. You know, in the left-handed market, you have Justin Wilson, Jake McGee, and then in the right-handed market, there's still plenty of really good relievers like Alex Colomé, Trevor Rosenthal, Mark Melancon. You know, there's plenty of others. A lot of those guys are still unsigned. So let's say that the Mets were to get Jackie and let's say Kike Hernandez, but Brad Hand, that would end up being too much, would put them over the tax. Like, there are other relievers they could get. I think that the drop-off between Brad Hand and Justin Wilson or Jake McGee or Mark Melancon is pretty significant. And I think that if you're not getting Brad Hand, I don't think you're getting Alex Colomé because Colomé is also going to put you over the tax if you got those other 2 guys. We know the Mets have looked at Albert Almora, so they could do something like Almora, Kike, and Brad Hand or another reliever. You know, they could do many different combinations. When you look at having 27 to 30 million left to spend, I think that Jackie Bradley has to be anywhere from 8 to 12 million. 12 million is my cutoff for Jackie. If it's something more than that, then I'm just going to move on to Marisnik or Almora or Pilar or one of those guys. So if I got Jackie Bradley for 12 million, and let's just say that you could get Kike for 7 million because that's where Pro Far got, puts you at 19 million. That puts you at 19 million, and you have around 27 to 30 to spend. I mean, if the Mets indeed do have 30 million, that's 11 million. Maybe you could get Brad Hand for that because he was making 10 million in Cleveland. I think another team could offer more, like the Blue Jays or these other teams are interested in Brad Hand. So it would be tough to pull off, but there is an avenue to do it. All in all, I definitely could see the Mets going the route of Jackie Bradley, Kike Hernandez, and Justin Wilson, and maybe another right-hander that's cheaper. And the other thing that John Heyman did not mention was getting another starting pitcher. That's something that we've talked about. You know, maybe Taijuan Walker, maybe someone else. Now, there still are some other starting pitchers available. Julio Teheran, Anibal Sanchez. It's up to the Mets to really decide what the priority is, because when you have 30 million, and you know, Brad Hand and Jackie Bradley are not going to be cheap. So you really have to decide, you know, do these contracts work out? If Bradley's looking for too much or Bradley's looking for too much, there are alternatives out there. Because if you went the alternative route in center field and you went the alternative route in the bullpen, then all of a sudden Trevor Bauer looks like more of a possibility, because you try these multiple pieces, the contracts were too much, and you're like, if we can't get them, we'll just get Bauer. We'll just get another starting pitcher and then another reliever. You know, there is multiple combinations to do it. So again, I really want to hear what you guys think about this report. What combination would you try to pursue? What contract numbers are you looking at? And until the next one, be safe, be smart, be healthy, and let's go Mets.